Hello and welcome to another episode of Anthony's Asylum. I am your host, Anthony, and welcome. This is actually a very special episode of Anthony's Asylum. This is the
Destiny, the Taken King Special Edition.
That's right, guys. The Taken King is finally out and released this week on all systems, okay? PS4, Xbox One, PS3, and Xbox 360. There was a huge update last week. And I do want to go into all the new things that the Taken King does. I'm going to give kind of a rundown of all the updates, all the changes, and all the improvements, in my opinion, of course. And then I'll kind of give a review of the game up to the point that I've played, just to kind of give you guys an idea. But before I go into that, I do want to mention very briefly that Bloodborne, the expansion that was announced a couple months ago, is now official. It is called Bloodborne, The Old Hunters, and that is releasing in November. Yeah, that's going to be fantastic. There's a trailer right now released that you can see on YouTube and a bunch of video game websites. But yeah, Bloodborne, The Old Hunters, looks fantastic. Great stuff. It looks just, there's new weapons, new enemies, new environments. Something tells me this was supposed to be in the original game, so I'm not sure. But either way, I don't really care. It depends on how much it's going to be. Hopefully it's not going to be too much of a, it's not going to burn too much of a hole in my wallet. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that. So coming out in November, and then there's going to be a Bloodborne complete set, I guess, that's being released in December. So it looks like that's going to be the only DLC for now. Possibly the rest of it is, that's probably it. So, but like I said, still very cool that is coming out. So. But without further ado, we will now jump into Destiny. This is going to be all Destiny, guys and girls. So be prepared. But anyway, first I wanted to go into the updates of the new game, the new expansion, as it were, the Taken King, which dropped officially on the 15th of this month. But there was actually an update released last Monday, I believe, or Tuesday, which basically forced everybody to download the expansion, I guess, all the content for the expansion, even for people who didn't, or who didn't buy the Taken King. But I wanted to go briefly into what Destiny 2.0 is like now, Destiny update. So for those of you who are familiar with the game and who are playing it, who have played it in year one, and who have not jumped into it yet for year two, which I can't really imagine anybody who hasn't done that, but I do just kind of like briefly want to go through what they have changed and what awaits you in the Taken King if you have not jumped in. But like I said, this update is game-wide, so even if you did not get the expansion, it prepares you essentially to get the expansion. So it has already updated everything for you. Sorry, so looking at first player character, your character level cap has been raised to 34 for all players. So before that, originally in year one, the level cap was 20, and then you would raise your light level based on the different gear that you got. Now that level cap has been really raised to 34. Now this is with the previous update that happened last week. Okay. And so the character level, basically the light level became your character level, and then the light level became a separate stat, which is now calculated by your attack and defense on all your gear and weapons. Everything you put together basically contributes to your light level. And then, of course, the next big thing is the damage that your weapons do. Your weapons and gear, so the attack power and defense, have all been what Destiny or what Bungie calls renormalized. So the cap originally for year 1 attack and defense was 365, or that was for the attack. Attack was 365, and defense, I believe, was also 365. That has all been reduced to 170, which makes sense because, they need somewhere to go. So I'm glad that they brought that down, because now with the Taken King coming out, now we can just kind of raise those stats and start getting a lot more gear and that kind of thing. So that's actually really cool. And then there's just been a lot of different things. I'm not going to go through everything because there's just huge things. Intellect, strength, and discipline. Now there's fixed tiers. Tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and that actually contributes to, your cooldown rates, all kinds of stuff. Let's see here. There's some changes to the Titans, the Hunters, just certain damage reductions. There's certain damage increases that they've done. Let's see, weapons. For the auto rifles, this might be good for any of you who are using auto rifles. Base damage has been increased across all archetypes. Pulse rifles, let's see, nothing too different. Rate of fire has been slightly increased. Magazine size has been increased. Scout rifles, base damage increased slightly. Magazine size increased as well. Hand cannons have been slightly nerfed, I suppose. Not too bad, but just a little bit. They made them a little bit more inaccurate and that kind of thing. And so you can find this list, by the way, on Bungie.net. Just look at news, and there is a September 8th posting called Destiny Update. And this is for the 2.0.0 update. So this is the update that released last week, regardless of whether or not you purchased the Taken King. So there is that. So if you want to take a look at that, just look at everything that they've done. It goes into every class. It goes into exotic, legendary weapons, what they've done with those. It goes into the exotic armor, what they've done with that. It goes into the activities, what they've changed. One of the major ones now is all the activities now, instead of being sort of separate and sort of, I guess, they were kind of like, I don't know. But now I guess they were just kind of like, just separate. They were on different worlds and stuff, and you didn't really know quite what you were doing. There was just an icon or a notification on like the different planets that would let you know, this area has opened up or whatever, and then there you go. And then there was just like this little story thing or narration or something. But now with year 2, with the Taken King, all the activities have been converted into what they call the quest system. So we have this quest menu that is now in your character menu, which adds this whole new element, and everybody has these quest lines now. It's really crazy. And then, so we have that I want to go into a little bit more detail a little bit later. Let's see, the Ghost. This is another big one. The Ghost is now voiced by Nolan North. Okay, no more Dinklebot, no more Peter Dinklage as the voice of the Ghost. And, some of you may say, oh, God, I loved that guy, and why did he have to go, and that kind of thing. But once you hear the new Ghost, it's I don't know, it's really cool. It's definitely, it takes getting used to at first, because at first you are expecting to hear, Dinklebot. But when that passes, you're like, oh, this guy's actually really good. And of course, it's Nolan North. He's a veteran video game voice actor. Obviously, of his most notable voice is Nathan Drake in the Uncharted series. So that gives you an idea. But he's also a good voice actor. So he's not doing Nathan Drake as the Ghost. So for those of you who are worried about that, that's not what's going on. He's actually created his own unique voice, his own unique interpretation of the Ghost. So like I said, very good. Not that I had any problems with Peter Dinklage. What I believe, and this is kind of what the developers have said over at Bungie, is that Peter Dinklage just did not have the time nor the flexibility, because he's on Game of Thrones, he's on a lot of stuff. to come in and record new dialogue, and that was kind of the issue. So I think getting a full-time sort of professional voice actor now with Nolan North has eliminated those things. So if they ever need any kind of new dialogue or anything new with the ghost, they can just go to Nolan North, record it, have it done, boom, and it's in the game. So I think that is definitely a plus. And let's see here. And then strikes have been changed a little bit. They used to have different tiers. They used to have, like tiger, all these different like strikes for different levels and that kind of thing. And you got different loot out of it and all kinds of stuff. Now what they have is the Vanguard strike list, essentially. They have, basically it's like all the strikes from year one, but they're all bundled into one strike. So it's a randomized strike. So you just click on it and it's like a randomized strike. So maybe a good thing, maybe a bad thing. I don't know. I've seen some negative comments on it. Bounties. Let's see. Bounties are pretty huge now. The slot size for your bounties has increased to 16. So you can hold more bounties. You can do more things now, which is pretty cool. Let's see here. The other thing is, if you have not completed Crota's Bane or the Dark Below expansion, Eris Morn's Year 1 bounties are gone. They're done. You just can't do them anymore. You can do Taken King quests, and I guess there are certain things you can do in the quests, and I'll talk more about that later in the new mission structure that they have with the Taken King that actually gains reputation with Crota's Bane. So not to worry. You definitely don't lose any of that. You keep the reputation you had, and it does accumulate doing more Taken King quests. So just know that your year 1 bounties for Eris Morn will not be there. On all general stuff in the tower, all the vendor reputation from year 1 will carry over, of course. Collections have been added to the tower, so now we have shaders and emblems collections. We have ships and sparrow collections. We have exotic armor and weapon blueprint collections. Vault space has been increased to store up to 72 weapons, which in my opinion is still not enough. Especially with the Taken King. I mean, there's going to be, okay, I'll get into that later. But, okay, 72 armors and 36 general, which is fine. The bounty vendor Xander99 has a new stock of daily bounties. That's actually really cool. The map droids, for whatever reason, have been removed. All right, let's see. Oh, and the gunsmith. You can now gain reputation with Banshee44, who is the gunsmith in the tower, which his NPC honestly was becoming rather useless to me, and it's cool that they have brought him back a little bit. So now you can actually gain reputation with him by using his field test weapons, which is where you take one of his weapons and field test it, exactly, just like that. And you gather data, all kinds of stuff, and then it transmits back to Banshee, and then depending on how you did, he gives you reputation. So it's actually really cool now. Let's see, the speaker. Of course, he has new ghosts on sale. He also carries year 1 emblems. Oh, no, he doesn't anymore. Sorry. The year 1 emblems have now been moved to Eva Levant. She's the one who sells you the shaders and different emblems and stuff like that. But the speaker does sell you legendary armor and stuff like that now. So, So that is it. Like I said, if you want to check it out, go to Bungie.net. I'm going to go over to the new, they call it the Destiny hotfix. So this was released on September 14th. This is 2.0.0.2. And this is the collector. This is an update to the collector's edition, because what happened was there was actually, and this kind of affected me too, since I pre-ordered and since I have been playing Destiny since year 1, I was supposed to get certain things that did not happen, but they were fixed quickly. So, but if this is still an issue with you, definitely check out Bungie.net. There is a fix coming. Okay. But there were some issues with getting some of the Taken King Collector's Edition items, including armor awards, and then certain packages that were specific to certain classes. But they have fixed that. So, there you go. Those are some of the updates to that. And then, of course, now we will go into the release. So this is including 2.0.0.2. Okay, so this is with the release of the Taken King. So this is what happened on 9/15. Okay.
Oryx and his army has arrived. Meet them on Phobos, a moon of Mars.
Requires the Taken King and a minimum level character level of 25. So crazy, right? So anyway, so for this, it's weird because last week, like I said, they just the level cap was 34. Now with the Taken King, the level cap is now increased to 40. Which I'm actually, I don't know, I'm kind of like, because I'm kind of blowing through that. I'm already level 36 and I just started playing. And within a couple hours I was up to that point, so I'm going to be rather curious as to how they keep that interesting. New Vanguard and Crucible bounties are now available at your local bounty tracker. Year 1 moments of triumph are now locked in history and cannot be progressed. VIP Founders Fortune rewards will be distributed in the tower. That's basically if you played Year 1, you get all these different rewards. It's actually really awesome. It's amazing, and I'll go into that a little bit too, a little bit later. And then you get this little consumable called a Spark of Light, which is really cool. It's a level 25 character boost consumable, available at the Postmaster. That basically, if you have a character, like say you just got into it like a week before the Taken King came out and you're at level 15 or whatever, and you're like, oh man, I can't play the Taken King. Well, guess what? You get this Spark of Light, and now you can get your character up to 25 and take on the Taken King. That's right, guys. It's actually really cool. I actually have a level 36 Warlock right now. He's the character I started with back in Year 1. And he's my main character. But I also have a Hunter that I started, I think a month ago or a couple months ago, who's only up to level 15 right now. And I was considering using it on him, but I'm also considering starting a new character, because I want to start a Titan character, definitely, and take that character through the Taken King. So right there, that's an amazing incentive right there. Just to be able to start a character and then use this Spark of Light and get your character right up to level 25. So I'm considering doing that too, but we'll see. And then of course now we have new subclasses. There are 3 new subclasses for the Warlock, Titan, and Hunter, which are amazing, by the way. Like I said, I started with the Warlock, and that's what I'm going through right now. It's called Stormcaller, and it's brilliant. It's amazing. Like that moment in any of the Star Wars movies where there's characters throwing lightning from their fingertips. It's like that, except you're floating off the ground. And you're in it's madness. Like it's just like the Emperor, right? But 10 times more chaotic. And there's lightning shooting everywhere, and it's like emanating from your entire body. I mean, it's insane, but awesome. But anyway, those quests, it's now a quest to get your subclass, which is freaking awesome. Everything is quest based. That's one of the major new changes of the Taken King. Everything is quest based. Everything is story focused. So for those of you who have been complaining about the story, myself included, this one, oh geez, they have done so much now to really boost that. But anyway, you can't get your subclass until you complete the Coming War story mission, and that is one of the first, I believe, the first mission of the Taken King. So not to worry. I mean, you do get it pretty soon, but there's also a quest line that involves that. So it's just really amazing the way that happens. And then, of course, we have new activities, daily heroics. Required level for that is 40. So yeah, definitely get out there, guys. Get your levels up there. And the missions will include selections from Year 1 and Year 2. The Vanguard Strike playlists are back, like I said. You'll have the weekly heroic strikes. You'll have 3 strike playlists. The Legacy Strike playlist, which contains all the Year 1 strikes, like I was saying. The Vanguard Strike playlist, which includes all new Taken King strikes, as well as a mix of Year 1 strikes. And then you have the Vanguard Heroic Strike playlist. And let's see. Crucible. All the new stuff in the Crucible is all Taken King. Pretty much Taken King. There are still Year 1 core playlists where they have Classic 6 versus 6, Classic 3 versus 3, and then FFA playlists. But all the Taken King ones, I've played most of them now. They're just amazing. There's Rift, there's Control, Clash, Skirmish. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of stuff to do. And of course, now from all those, from the Vanguard playlist and the Crucible, you earn legendary marks. So you don't get Vanguard marks anymore, and you don't get Crucible marks anymore. They have been consolidated into legendary marks. And yeah, just a lot of stuff. Like, that's the biggest thing right now is the NPCs. I always used to think the NPCs in Destiny were just filler. You know, they were just there to give you a weapon, give you a mission, but there wasn't much interaction. You didn't feel like these were actual people that you were talking to and dealing with, and you were just like, okay, thanks, and then I'll go back out in the field, shoot some dudes, come back, get my reward, and be on my merry way. But that is all changed. The big changes now that they have made is making all the NPCs, and I mean all the NPCs, the Cryptarch, Banshee, like I said, the Gunsmith, the Speaker, Lord Shax, Arcite, Roni 9940, Queen's Wrath. If you don't know half of these people, that's okay. You will now. That's just it, because you will get quest lines from all these characters. And believe it or not, it becomes so much more rewarding now, because they all have new dialogues. They all have, content specific things that they say. There's more cutscenes now. That's one of the amazing things. As soon as you boot up the Taken King, there's an amazing opening cutscene for it that shows you exactly what's going on and kind of sets the stage for everything to come. And it's actually like, wow, it's pretty amazing. But from that point on, you're getting all these character dialogues, all these amazing story points, cinematics, cutscenes, and Bungie has done an amazing job with this. Some characters now have bigger roles, such as Cade 6, the Hunter Vanguard, who is amazing. I love that guy so much. But he has all these side quests for you to do. The Warlock Vanguard, the Titan Vanguard. They're all their roles have been upped. They have more dialogue. They have more story quests and things like that. And like I said, you feel like you're in a living, breathing world now. And it's crazy to think that this game has been out for over a year now, and Bungie is just now hitting their stride. It's crazy. Like, Destiny Year 1 really has nothing on Destiny Year 2, at least so far. The Taken King is amazing. So far, what I've played, it's fantastic. Like I said, taking into account all the updates that they've done, all the changes, all the improvements, it is a completely different game, but it's also, I think, the game that we all wanted when we first got Destiny. This is exactly what I wanted, with the exception of space battles and being able to fly your ship. That's the one thing that I'm still like, damn it, Bungie, come on. I want to be able to fly my ship, and I want to be able to have some space combat. I think that's something that hopefully will be added in the future. But anyway, we don't have that right now. But definitely the more story-oriented gameplay is just fantastic. Like I said, right off the bat with the Taken King, you're thrown into this world. There's more cutscenes. There's more interaction between you and your ghost. So now when you're actually going through a mission, there will be areas of a level that require you to scan. Your ghost will say something. He'll point something out and say, hey, look at that over there. Or he'll say, we need to check this out over here. And it'll just be like this little cool, exploration that you're doing within the mission, which typically, didn't happen in the old Destiny. It was typically, okay, get from point A to point B, shoot as many people as possible, get out, kill the boss or whatever, go get your reward, that kind of thing. And, it was good. It was fun. I mean, that was definitely one of the things that kept me coming back to the game. But now there's just so much. Now there's just a real sense of worth, and like you're actually doing something that is, potentially game-changing, potentially world-shattering, all these different things that are just like, wow, So obviously there's more interaction between you and your ghost. There's more radio chatter. There's, the different vanguards are going to be calling, during your mission, they're going to be talking to you. There's going to be chatter from Eris Morn. There's, so all these different people are now kind of guiding you through these missions, and you don't feel so alone anymore, especially if you're going through the game by yourself and you don't have a fire team or you don't have a clan or something. You now feel like, hey, there are actually people back there who care about me, and I'm going through this, and it's all, it's not just for naught, you know what I mean? We're actually going through this, and it's going to be affecting everybody on this huge level, so. And now, too, is the mission structures have changed a little bit, too, from what I have played so far. There's definitely more verticality to the levels. There is more platforming, and depending on how you feel about that, I actually enjoy it. I think they've added a lot more variety to the missions. It used to be very sort of linear, in my opinion, the mission structure, and you were just kind of, there wasn't much in terms of, it was just shoot some dudes, you get a little break, you're running around into some hallways, shoot some more dudes, you know what I mean? But what I've noticed so far with the Taken King missions is there's now a greater emphasis on, you're still shooting dudes, obviously. I mean, this is a shooter, so let's not forget that. But there's like story breaks, there's moments where you kind of have time to look around, and there's parts where you're like, you're not really sure where to go. And that's where you kind of have to look around and kind of get your surroundings and see what's going on. And then you may see, oh, there's a platform up there, and there's this little box over here that I can jump on to get up to that platform and then go over here. And so there's different stuff like that. Like I said, there's more verticality. You're going up stuff, you're going down stuff. Really cool. You're going through stuff. There's like hidden areas everywhere now, especially when you get to the Dreadnought. Spoiler alert. No, not really. But yeah, when you get to the Dreadnought, it's just like, holy crap. There's just so much. And exploration. That's one keyword I would use for this new Destiny. Destiny the Taken King is exploration. Because especially once you get to the Dreadnought, it's like, that's all you're doing. You're shooting dudes, but you're also exploring. There's this whole gigantic, the Dreadnought is huge. I like I said, I just started with the Dreadnought. So I am barely into it. I have just barely scratched the surface, and I've already just uncovered so many things. And I've already gotten so many drops and so many awesome weapons and armor drops, and it's just been amazing. So yeah, that's Destiny the Taken King. And sorry if I sound so like, I'm just so excited about it. And I hope the biggest thing for me is, I hope that Bungie can sustain this content. I hope it is sustainable. I hope that there is going to be a lot of content, and it's going to go on for a while. Because this is huge. It is huge. It's definitely a new step in the direction of just a better game overall, in my opinion. And, they can only go up from here, and I hope they do. My only issue with this now is, how often are they going to be releasing these expansions? How often are they going to be changing the game? Because for people who don't really want to get the expansions or can't, they can't play. And that kind of sucks. And the game has effectively been changed for those people. Because what if people didn't want things to be changed? If they're on Destiny Year 1 and they just want to play Destiny Year 1, their game has effectively changed. That's the one thing, I think, the one drawback, if you will, to the new game, to Destiny 2.0 is, well, you know what? You're pretty much SOL. If you want to play the game that you did play in Year 1, too bad. And that could be, I don't know. It's one of those things. You can't really... Bungie, I think, is going to continue doing this, and that's just the way it is. They're making money. They're making boatloads of money. They're also spending a lot of money to do this, and for the most part, the community, they are very community oriented. They do listen to people about feedback and improvements and things they can do better and all this kind of stuff, and we have seen that. So it's not like they don't, but at the same time, they are a company. They are a corporation. They are they need to make money, and so whether you like it or not, it's a really good game, and if you can, I would definitely encourage you to get the Taken King, because, like I said, there is no way back now to go to Destiny Year 1 the way it was. And like I said, for some that may be bad, for others that may be good. I think it's good. I am continuing with the game. I am continuing with the series. Now the only thing is, well, am I going to continue after this? You know, I don't know. Are they going to require us to keep paying $40 for each new expansion? I mean, is there going to be any free content anytime soon? Is there anything that is, you know, incentive for people who have played the game this long? You know, those are things to consider, I think. So, going forward. But anyway, I do give the Taken King right now a very, very high recommendation. Get the game, guys. Get out there. Get in your fire teams. Get in your clans. Let's take down Oryx the Taken King, alright? Anyway, so this has been another episode of Anthony's Asylum, a very Destiny-heavy episode for all you gamers out there. Anthony's Asylum releases every Friday, for the most part, on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, and on my Patreon page. So if you would be so kind to visit my Patreon page and donate what you can to help me and my cause of making awesome videos and movies and that kind of thing, that would be awesome. But thanks, guys, for listening. Yeah, I am out of here. Bye.